Hey guys, it's Elisa, not Alyssa, and today we're going to be talking about how to pronounce all of these sounds. So we have CO, CI, CG, mess, gigantic disastrous mess. How on earth do we pronounce all of these sounds? So I'm about to tell you that. Okay, first we're going to talk about the C, and then we're going to talk about the G later. So when we have C and O, we get co. For example, in the word comunque. If we have C-A, we get ca. So it's again a hard C. So we get caldo. If we have C-U, it's again a hard C. For example, cucina. So we get cucina. So comunque means anyway, caldo means hot or warm, and cucina means kitchen. Now, where this gets interesting is when we put an I or an E beside a C. So if we get CI, we get ci. For example, in the parola, I just did a whole video in Italian and now I can't even speak anything. Okay. In the word città, so city, that means city, città. So CI makes chi. And same thing with E. If you put C and E, you get a soft C, so you get c'è. For example, in the word certo. Now, okay, fine, I get it, but what if I want cha? Or cho? How am I going to do that if CA and CO makes ka and ko? How does that work? So here's the rule. The I softens the sound and the H hardens the sound. So if you're trying to get cho, because you have ko, okay? Ko, that's a hard C. If you want to make it a soft C, then you just put an I in between, and then you get cho. For example, cioccolato. If you took out the I, you would get coccorato. So it's cioccolato, so you add the I. Now, this is why the I is not pronounced in this word. The I's purpose in this word is not to be pronounced, it's to make the C soft. So before, when we had città, obviously you pronounce the I, but because we have CI and then another vowel, O, it's just cho. It's not chio. Okay, so that's very important. If we move on to CIA, so that will make cha. So instead of ka, instead of a hard C, ka, you want a soft C, you add an I, and you get cha. So that's why in the word ciao, we don't say ciao. Why? Because the I's purpose is not to be pronounced. The I's just there to soften the C. So another example is ciambella, which means donut. It's not ciambella. No, we just say ciambella. Anyway, these rules are mostly important for O, A, I, and E. With U, those words are a little bit less common. So I want to mostly focus on those because, well, they're the most important. But there is a word in which you get CIU. Okay, so instead of cu, like in cucina, if you want a soft C with a U, like chu, you can see that in the word dispiaciuto, like displeased, dispiaciuto. Again, this combination isn't really common, but it exists. So the next sounds are CI, chi, and CE, che. So, okay, those are already soft Cs. How do I make them hard Cs? Well, as I said before, the H hardens the sound. So all you do is you insert a little H in there, and then you will get chi. For example, the word chi, which is who, okay? Chi. So that's why the H isn't pronounced. The H's purpose in this word is not to be pronounced. I mean, the H is never pronounced in Italian anyway, but its purpose is to just harden the C. So you get chi. For example, in the word chiaro, which is clear. And then the same thing happens if you want to make the sound che. You just put an H in there. So if you see C-H-E, that is che. For example, in the word barche, which is boats. Now the question is, how on earth are you supposed to remember this? I do have a little trick to remember it. The way I always remembered it was, so to remember that CO is ko and CA is ka, I would always think Coca-Cola, coca. And that would help me remember that CO is hard, CA is hard. And then if you want one for chi and che, if you've ever heard of the philosopher Cicero, which in Italian would be pronounced Cicero, well, that's a way to remember it. Obviously, that doesn't work for CU, but again, CU is a much less common letter combination, and CIU, they're much less common, so I never had trouble with that. I don't know, maybe you might, but anyway, that's the trick that I have. Now, what's great about this is it's the exact same rule for the G's. So, GO makes go. For example, gola, which means throat, gola. okay? Go. Ga makes ga. For example, gara, which means race. Gara, gara, so ga. Gi makes g, like girare, and ge makes ge, like gentile, gentile. Then again, gu is gu, like gusto, flavor. Oh, I forgot to say, girare means turn, gentile means nice. Again, if you want to soften a sound, you add an I. If you want to harden a sound, you add an H. So, G-I-O would make gio, like giovedì, Thursday, giovedì, gio. Again, we don't pronounce the I because, again, it's just there to soften the G. It's not there to be pronounced. So it's not giovedì, it's gio. Giovedì. G-I-A will make già, so that softens that hard G from before. So G-A is ga, G-I-A is già, like in the word giallo, giallo, which means yellow. If we want to make gi, we just add an H. So G-H-I, like ghiaccio, ghiaccio. Ghiaccio means ice. So again, the H is never pronounced, but it's especially not pronounced here. It's there to harden the sound. Now, try not to confuse this with the example from before. Ghiaccio, we are pronouncing the I because the I is not the extra letter we added, whereas in the other examples it was. Then G-H-E, we get ge, like gepardo, gepardo. Gepardo means cheetah. And then G-I-U will get giusto. So earlier we had gusto, which meant taste or flavor. Now we have giusto, which means right or just. So G-I-U makes giusto. Okay, fine. That's all like fine and dandy, whatever. But there's some other letter combinations that are kind of weird, like SCO or SCIO. So let's have a look at that. So if we have SCO, nothing really changes here. It would be what you would expect. So it would be sco. For example, in the word capisco, capisco, okay? So it's what you would expect it to be. It's the same thing with SCA. You would get ska, like scale, which is stairs. Oh, capisco means I understand, by the way. But then when we get to CI, SCI, it's a bit weird because CI is chi and then S, chi, no. So we get she. So SCI make she. For example, capisci, which is you understand. So if you ever look at the conjugation table for capire, to understand, in the present tense, you'll see capisco, but then the pronunciation changes. That's why it's capisci all of a sudden, because SCI make she, whereas SCO made sco, capisco. So capisco, capisci. Same thing with SCE. CE made che. So in this case, again, we're going to get that SH sound in English. So she, scemo, scemo. Scemo means like silly or stupid. Scemo. Then with SCU, it's like you would expect. Scusa, scusa. So it's the same thing as before. Then what if you want to get the sound sho? How do you do that? Again, SCO, you add an I and you get sho. SCIA will make sha, like sciarpa, which is scarf. So sha, SCIA. Again, with the U, there are less words that have these letter combinations, but we do have the word asciugarsi, like to dry oneself, asciugarsi. So again, SCIU makes shu. If you want to get ski and you don't want she, you do SCHI to harden it. So schiena, schiena. If you want ske, so that would be SCHE, like in the word pesche, pesche, which is peaches. So that's basically how these letter combinations work. This is one of the few letter combinations that are kind of weird in Italian. Besides that, the Italian writing system tells you basically everything you need to know about how Italian words are pronounced, with a couple of exceptions. This is one of the ones where it's a bit weird, but what's nice is it's extremely consistent. So you're not going to find exceptions to this rule. It's always going to stay this way, which is great, unlike English, because English doesn't make very much sense. It's not very consistent. So that's pretty much it. If you want a bonus video with more examples and a little bit more help, you can go onto my Patreon page because there's going to be a bonus video with examples. I'll give you guys time to mimic me with these words. I'll also have you guess how to pronounce them and give you the answer. Anyway, it's hopefully something that'll be helpful for you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps the video out a lot when you like it, comment on it, watch the whole thing, because YouTube knows when you do that. If you're looking to support my channel anyway, that's one way you can do it. Or of course on my Patreon, if you want to join my Patreon page to see bonus videos, longer cuts of videos, things like that, you can head over there. And that's pretty much it. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.